pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, who gets $2 in the kitty? Okay, we just came out of closed session. 1A, nothing to report. 2A, direction to staff. 3A, claim is denied. And confidential minutes were approved. Public matters not on the agenda, discussion items only, no action to be taken. Any person may address the board at this time upon any subject within the jurisdiction of Amador County Board of Supervisors. However, any matter that requires action may be referred to staff and/or committee for report and recommendation for possible action at a subsequent board meeting. Please note there's a 3-minute time limit.
I'm here on behalf of Senator Marie Alvarado Gill. And the big topic for today, as I know you're all dealing with, is the storm. We appreciate the coordination between the county and the sheriff with our office, keeping us up to date, and working also with your Amador County Office of Emergency Services, the coordinator there, and I have one item to talk about with that, but I did receive a text from Dan that I think came from Logan Carnell, and it was an update. And I just want to share this because it's really impactful, and so I'm not sure if you're going to be talking about it directly, but I'd like to read it. What's that? It was very well written. And basically, you're essentially saying 1/3 of the homes have been damaged. 9 or 10 of the power lines are down or have trees hanging on them. 9 out of 10. Most of the roads are 1 lane wide, so ingress and egress are challenging and limited. I have lived through 50 winters up here. This one has the most significant damage because of the weight and consistency of the snow. And I know that Amador County has passed their own proclamation, and I believe Calaveras County is voting on theirs.
And we're voting on it today.
You're voting on it today.
Ratifying it today.
Ratifying it today, as well as Calaveras. And here's something that I just wanted to share from the senator. She just said, we understand that Amador County has issued a local disaster proclamation. You're voting on it today. Our office stands ready to work with our county partners to elevate a formal request to the governor for a state of emergency. So I think this is really important. And so
our biggest thing, and I will say, is that it's not just doing what PG&E is doing right now. It's actually the biggest part of this whole hurdle will be cleaning up afterwards.
Right.
We've got a huge hurdle to. I have a video of PowerPoint presentation from one of my constituents in Amador Pines, and it'll be a good video for, PowerPoint for people to see what happened during this also.
And I hope our office gets to see that as well. So please do share that. And the last thing that I have for everyone is that the senator has her legislative packet. One bill in particular that I'd like to bring up today is the Fire Safe Home Tax Credit. So it's going to be easier to do those fire prevention, landscaping, and defensible space vegetation management on your property, as well as get some reimbursement for that. It's going to be SB 1084. So I will be bringing up various bills and talking about them through this process. But we need to do something, and that's one way where homeowners can take action on their property and get some compensation. And if anyone needs to get a hold of me, go through the website, get a hold of one of our offices, and we're happy to help. Today we have 2 ribbon cuttings, and I will be doing mobile office hours, and I own. So if anyone watching online or in this room would like to come out and talk with me about any issues, please do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Scott Onetto, Farm Advisor with the University of California Cooperative Extension. I have some exciting, great news that I just want to share with you all this morning, as well as the public that may be listening in. For the last 8 months, we have been partnering with the Mother Lode Land Trust and the Amador County Unified School District to start a brand new school farm for the district. And so hopefully this isn't new information, but if it is, surprise. And so anyways, the farm is open, and we are actually having a grand opening ribbon cutting this afternoon from 4 to 6. The site of it is at CNC Ranch, that is basically on Jackson Gate Road, 1334 Jackson Gate Road, just 2 miles north of town, basically by the Chickazola store, if you're familiar with that. So I've got some flyers that I will pass along to all of you in case you haven't seen it, and I'll also leave a few in the back as well. But again, we're really excited to have everybody out. It is potentially going to have a little bit of sprinkling this afternoon, but we are planning for that, and we have plenty of places to keep people out of the rain. So just bring a jacket and an umbrella, and hopefully we'll see you all out this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was on the Sacramento News this morning.
Anybody else?
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
And thank you again for your time.
Please state
I
your
get
name.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No
I'm
problem.
supposed to sign this too. Lori Donaldson, and I am an IHSS care provider here in Amador County. One moment, I'm so sorry.
Not a problem.
There we go. Okay. Probably getting sick of seeing my face, but I do appreciate your time. It's a very important subject. And just one of the things I wanted to touch on real quick with you folks this morning is the fact that I'm relatively new to the community, but despite that fact, I'm being contacted often and regularly from folks in need of services. And no IHSS providers available. Now, granted, there are times where, connections do need to be made, but we are sorely lacking in the number of, the amount of need there is, that we don't have the care providers I don't have the hours to give these folks, and I feel terrible about it. So I'm going to try to work my networking and get some people out there to help them. But I just want you to understand that some terrible lesson I've learned is that it's getting older is not for the faint of heart, and we're all going to get there. And we're all going to need assistance at some point. Some of us have the luxury of loved ones that can help us, and others, despite what their lives may have, how hard they've worked, just don't have that help, and they need us to help them. And it's just a really important thing. And I just hope that you will remember that it's easier to get help when you have a wage. That's where you're able to take care of yourself. And right now, I couldn't live alone if my life depended on it. I'm lucky enough to live with family members, and so we coexist. But on the wages that we get now, it's just not a possibility. And I just hope that you'll remember the need in our community. Thank you very much, and have a
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Diana Hicks. I am also a provider here in Amador County. You didn't leave me much to say. I do want to add pretty much what she just spoke of. We are definitely short on providers in this county. In addition to not having a competitive wage, it's very hard for me to stay in this line of work. And also, with not having enough providers to allow our recipients to remain in their homes with care, the proper care, it inadvertently sends them back to long-term care facilities in our county and our local hospital, and we only have one of each. And that tends to get a little bit stressful on those facilities as well. That's pretty much, I think, all I have to say. You did an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm going to remember to sign this time. My name is Sean. I'm actually the chief negotiator for this county, but I wasn't always with SEIU. I was a CNA for 17 years. I worked in that building across the street for over 11 and a half years, and I'm telling you right now, extremely short-staffed. It is sad to hear people beg to go to the bathroom. It is sad to hear people that beg to need to be changed because those CNAs can't get to them. And it's even worse out here. My mother needed a care provider, and she was in Jackson Hills. It took a while to get one. They wouldn't give her enough hours. By the time her care provider found her, she had took her oxygen off and fell. Then she went to ICU, and my mother passed because she didn't have a provider that had enough hours, and I couldn't find one. So the cold reality is we're all getting old. We don't expect it, and not even old people are the ones. I went to houses where IHSS workers have chose to be with their children who are born with disabilities. A woman that couldn't even make it out of her house because her child was a danger to go outside. She chose to stay in with her child every day. A woman who took care of her daughter and chose to stay with her daughter every day, begging to just want to go to church for a day, and they couldn't find a provider to give her that 1 hour. That's the cold reality. That's the reality of the voters out there. That's the reality of the people that you're running into in the stores. Those are the people that I represent. Those are the ones that I'm trying to make sure that people have the honor of not losing their life, that are being able to stay in their homes like you all want to do when you get older. You work really hard. I worked really hard for my home. I want to stay there, but I'm not going to burden my children. I want someone to take care of me, but I'm not going to do that to my kids because they have their own life. I don't expect them to do that. But the cold reality is we're all going to need somebody someday, but they're all going to need to make a living to take care of us. And that's the sad truth about it. Do we want to stay where we have, or do you want to go over there, give up everything that you've ever earned for your whole life to share a room with somebody you probably don't even like and beg to go to the bathroom? That's what I fight for. I'm fighting for a living wage for these people, to honor the people like us and our grandparents and our people in this community to stay where they feel most loved, most safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public?
Dana Jorgensen with Assemblymember Hadwick. I wasn't going to come up today, but I am participating in the 2 ribbon cuttings today as well. Just quick update, I am upstairs if you have issues that come up with state agencies or PG&E available. A friend of mine in El Dorado County just contacted me with about a community center that had in Pollock Pines that didn't have their power on for quite some time, and I was able to we're getting updates from PG&E, so I can ask them the question, and she got right back to me, and so anyway, that's available. On a complete side note, I'm a member of the Friends of the Library. Our collection day is this Saturday at the old courthouse behind, so go where the Sally Port is. It's from 10 to 2. No encyclopedias, please, or magazines.
I've got a truck full myself.
We get a lot of good finds, and we turn that money in, and we help support all of the libraries. I really enjoy doing it. It's a great group of board members, but we do it twice a year. So it's this Saturday. Come by at 10, and I will help you take things from your car. We've got some great sorters, and
That's a great collection. That's for somebody that had to move out, and
yeah.
the last thing was left is the books.
We get some of those, and like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, we're moving to so-and-so, and you always, it's really interesting people. So I really enjoy it. It's kind of my community service. I really believe in it. So I just wanted to remind people about it. It's this
Sounds good.
Saturday. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we're on to approval of the agenda.
So moved with one addendum.
That's 1A, you said?
Supervisor, did you have a video you wanted to?
Yeah, I'm going to put that with the
with the declaration.
addendum.
Okay.
So we have the one addendum. I'm going to move it to addendum 1 to 5A1. So we have a motion by Supervisor Neto.
I'll second it with the addendum.
Okay. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, approval of the consent agenda. Anybody from the public want to talk on that? Anybody on Zoom?
Not at this time.
Okay, back to the board. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
second. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Just under a little comment on the consent addendum or agenda. I see that the reappointment of Supervisor Plas to ACTC is on there. And I'd just like to acknowledge John's hard work, and he's been a real good representative to the county there, and he's worked real hard trying to get money for our roads, so I appreciate his efforts.
Agreed. Okay, we're on to regular agenda, 5A, presentation of the mid-year budget presentation by the CAO.
Okay, let me get everything. All right, supervisors, it's that time of year again to start down the budget process. This always starts with the mid-year budget review, which talks about how we've spent so far in this year and the look ahead to next year's budget, the 26-27 budget. So just a quick recap of the budget we approved last year. This was an unusual budget primarily because of the jail. It really spiked a lot of the spending. You can see we had a $2.1 million decrease to reserves that we approved. That was out of the jail reserve to cover those costs. So the $61 million general fund is unusual. It will come back down just because we will stop all that spending. The history, you can see what we typically receive by this point in time. We have received 45.62% of our budgeted revenues, which is not that low, not that high. It's right about the middle of what we typically get. Expenditure-wise, we're at 48.32%, which again is a little high, but not as high as it was last year. The projection, the big projection that comes out of the mid-year budget is where we're going to be at the end of the year. How much of the budget that we've got will we spend? Last year we had about a $6 million carryover. This year at the end of the 25-26, we're anticipating that will draw down to about 3.5. That you can see the 3.462 in the lower right-hand corner, which is going to reduce our budgeting authority by that much. And we'll talk about how that impacts us. But that is one of the large issues we're having to deal with. What's happening with our revenues, the 1% local sales tax, we call it the Bradley Burns to differentiate that between the Prop 172 money. It came in 2.7% under budget for 24-25. We adjusted it down to match last year's budget, and we are again on track to not hit our budget for the sales tax for 25-26. So it's about $22,000 that we are going to come in short. Not the end of the world, but it is not growing, and this will be 3 years in a row. It will have declined. Prop 172, however, is computed differently than the Bradley Burns sales tax, and it is growing. So you can see that we're up 54% already through 6 months of the year. So that's higher than we had anticipated. TOT is also growing. The county, we're up at almost 63% of our budgeted revenues in that. We're looking good with the TOT. TOT does shift seasonally, so we compare that. Just because it's at 63 doesn't mean it's going to end up at 120% by the end of the year. But we are projecting it to exceed our budgeted amount by 3%. The Jackson Rancheria has paid us what they promised they would pay us, and we do appreciate that. They're always a good partner to public safety. Their contributions are to the sheriff, the DA, and probation. Harrah's Northern California has, per our ISA, they should be contributing about $1.4 million to those departments, and we're getting zero from them. And we'll talk about casinos in a little bit further down. But the biggest one of these that causes the greatest concern is the transfer taxes. Transfer taxes are way down. We are projecting that to be 20% below our budget. That's $90,000. And we had reduced it significantly from last year. The bigger concern is that when transfer taxes go down like this, that means that houses are not selling, property's not selling, and eventually that means that housing prices are going to decline, because when people, at first people just simply say, well, I won't sell right now because the market's depressed, but down the road they're going to need to sell if they need to move, and that means that they're going to have to sell for a lower price, and that will depress property values for similar houses. Right now, our property taxes continue to grow. You can see where we are. That last dot is as of 24-25. That's what we've actually received for last year. It continues to go up, although the rate of increase is declining. You can see that the year-over-year change on that bottom grid. We are projecting right now a 2.5% increase over last year. So it's still going up, but it is not going up like it was. And you can see the Bradley Burns sales tax, what that's done. That shows our 3 years, the 3 years, 2 of the 3 years are shown there. And the trend by quarter, it's really just stagnant. It's not going up, it's going down a little, but it was nice when it was going up. Expenditures, fiscal year 25-26, we've expended 51.62% of wages, which we project we're not going to exceed what we've budgeted, but we have spent a lot to this point. Last year we put the freezes on on filling positions, and we saved about $1 million in doing so. We'll talk about what we want to do with that situation here in a little bit. But we did prepay our PERS unfunded liability, which gives us a significant savings. We saved $270,000 by doing so. By simply paying it at the beginning of the year. If we pay it in July, rather than paying it month by month, they do give us a significant return on that. And if we have the cash flow to do it, we try to do it every year, and we did. So further to our benefit, the debt service on this building has been paid off. So that's $638,000 that we paid each year, and actually it increased. But those bonds have been paid off, and we now own the building free and clear. So $638,000 a year, it's been saved, and it's reflected in that number that I put in the agenda, unfortunately. So, and as well as of December 31st, the balance remaining in the contingencies is $1.3 million, which means it's been untouched. That's what we started with. So what our assumptions are for the base budget, we are currently estimating the carry forward at roughly $3.5 million. We will continue to refine that, and hopefully that is conservative, but if you, I got a slide here, I'll talk about that. Our property taxes, we estimate to go up by 2.5%. Cumulatively between the property taxes and the property taxes in lieu of VLF, we're going to get about $750,000 more to spend out of property taxes this year. The Bradley Burns sales tax, we are projecting just a simple 0% increase. And then we've already taken $1 million out of the excess tax loss reserve, the teeter funds, and put that into the budget. We had projected to spend it last year. We did not spend it last year because the savings from salary reductions was so significant, our carryover was high. So we did not need to use that. We're using it now. Our wages for next year are going to go up by about $1.3 million. So that is, we are getting hit with the increases that had been covered by both the DA and the sheriff, as well as probation, and those are now being fully covered by the general fund. We've incorporated longevity increases. We have no COLAs in that budget right now, and we are showing a deficit. PERS unfunded liabilities going up by $551,000. That hits both the general fund and the realignment funds, but the general fund always takes the brunt of it. Health insurance costs also estimated to go up to the tune of $424,000. Our contingencies we set at 1.3 million, which is 2.1% of financing uses, which is actually low. It should be up at 3%, but it's never been a problem before. We don't anticipate it would be a problem now, so we are leaving it there because we'd have to cut additionally if we were to bring it up to 3%. The A87 plan last year, we talked about that last year. It hit us. The A87 grew and hit the general fund harder than normal. This year, it's shifting back, and so we've got a decrease in general fund expenditures of $334,000 for that. And the minimal changes to expenditures due to increase to rent, annual operation and maintenance changes, things like that. And finally, we are getting an estimate from our risk folks that we're going to have an increase on liability and property insurance of $380,000. So that's also in there. So everything's going up. Nothing's going down. You can see what our liability and workers' comp premiums have done. In 25-26, we made that change, shift from a $10,000 deductible to a $100,000 deductible on our liability insurance, which brought that down, but now it's bouncing back up regardless. So not unusual for insurance. So other possible economic factors, I'm going to touch on a few more later on here, but right now we put all these into our base budget, and we will send those budgets to the departments with the instructions that the board gives me today. The jail expansion project, we should be done by the end of the fiscal year. It's actually almost done now. We have taken money out of local revenue, capital facilities, rural crimes, and the jail reserve. Jail reserve is general fund. So the general fund did pitch in to get this thing done. And health realignment, both inmate medical expenses and agency on aging are funded by health realignment. We've talked about that. Public health, environmental health rely on health realignment. That fund is getting thin, and we've talked about that in the past. Public health is feeling the pinch, and they're having to grab every grant they can to keep everybody working. It's working okay right now, but jail medical is a horribly expensive expenditure, and it is there's not really a lot we can do about it. we just bid it, just a couple of years ago, and, I don't think there's much we can do to fix that. But that's not general fund. This is focusing on the general fund. And you can see inflation has remained steady, about 2.7% annually, a slight decrease over December 24. The CalPERS cost, this is a quick little dive into CalPERS. I probably need to do another presentation on CalPERS and where all of this comes from and where it goes. But you can see these are the normal cost rates. So this is the cost that CalPERS calculates as a percentage of salary for each employee for each year they work. So each employee in the miscellaneous plan, the employer pays 9.46% of the salary to PERS in addition to their salaries and other benefits. You can see how much we are paying for the classic tier, the peace officers, as well as SLP, which is safety local prosecutor. Even the PEPRA is up almost at 14% for the CPOs. The unfunded liability, which hits us harder because we have to pay a portion of that every year. Our total unfunded liabilities our funded status for is about in the upper 70s, 70% right now, 78% I believe it is. And as a result, we pay a portion of that 22% that we are not funded towards this every year. So you can see total miscellaneous plan is having to pay 5.58 million. The safety units are paying what? It's about 3.3 million. Total unfunded liability we're paying this year is $8.9 million, which is something we pay towards PERS and we get zero out of it other than to keep our pension plan afloat. And that is going up by $551,000. Then we talked about that. That is split between the realignment funds and the general fund, but it's still going up significantly. And you can see next year it's going up for another $350,000. So that's where it is. Our general fund deficit right now, $3.16 million. We calculate all of our known changes that I've talked about here, increases, steps. We've unfrozen all the positions that were frozen last year, and anticipate those in this budget. The changes, the cost allocation from GSA, from IT matrix, and have all been incorporated. Our current employees and step and longevity increases are included. I mentioned that. So what's going wrong? Why do we have this deficit? This deficit is very similar to what we had last year, but predominantly, I mentioned at the beginning that we're looking at a reduction in the carryover, $2.5 million. So we've got $3.1 million in deficit that partly is because our revenues do not meet our expenditures, which is why that total budget goes down. Like I explained here, the total budget authority consists of both the funds left over, which is what we call the carryover, and our revenues, and that total must match the expenditures. If the carryover goes down by $2.5 million, the expenditures have to go down by $2.5 million. So, alternatively, we could just take that carryover, discard it, and say revenues match expenditures, and do something else with that carryover. That would be up to the board if you wanted to tackle that, but that would be would necessitate a larger cut, significantly larger cut. Not something I think we want to tackle right now, but something to bear in mind. You combine all the things that have gone wrong, the increased insurance costs, increased PERS, the absorption of the additional costs for staff, for salaries and benefits. We've got a structural problem that is going to continue on. We're going to have this problem next year too. I don't anticipate that it's going to somehow magically get better. The compounding situation, the fact that sales tax has become stagnant and the rate of increase of property taxes has slowed. And I mentioned the $750,000 from both the property taxes as well as the vehicle taxes in lieu of property taxes. Further threats, this is also the things that may be lurking around the corner. HR 1, the feds have changed, which I think you've probably all heard, the eligibility criteria for Medicaid, which affects Medi-Cal, and it's largely going to go into effect in January. Some things have come into effect already, but the big stuff that's going to hit us is going to go into effect in January. Staff is going to have to reevaluate everybody who gets this every 6 months, which is a heavy lift. And the criteria have become much stricter. There are going to be a lot of people that get kicked off of Medi-Cal, and the state requires that ultimately the county becomes we offer care as a last resort. We keep if people fall through the cracks, we catch them, and there's going to be a lot more people catching them. Right now, we've got $23,000 in our Department 5300, which is the indigent care of that. That comes out of the general fund. The state right now is trying to find a solution and legislate a solution. CSAC is working with them. CSAC themselves is trying to craft a solution that they can ask the state to enact. It is, I don't know if I hold a lot of hope that there's going to be a good solution discovered. We will see, but we're paying attention to it. This is not something we've talked about since there's really not a lot of information out there as far as how this is going to hit us, but it is something to pay attention to. The I-Own Band Casino, Acorn Ridge, is opening this week, actually today. And we have an agreement with them, and they will be contributing to the sheriff, DA, and probation. We are confident that's going to come in. We will be bringing that all back. We delayed a lot of those contributions in our negotiations with them so that they could get some cash flow going before we had to ask them to start paying. But we will be modifying those budgets to accommodate those funds. The Jackson Rancheria has not, we haven't made our request yet to them for the 26-27 fiscal year. They haven't given us an indicator that they won't pay, and they've always been a strong supporter of the county and their impacts. So, but down the road, they've got a big threat themselves in the form of this new casino. And they've also got a competitor out in Comanche area, I-Own, that doesn't pay anything to us. So I don't know if that's exactly fair. But next question for the board is there anything we want to talk about cutting? I put everything in our budget that is voluntary that we do is here. There's not a lot of it, but and just because I showed it here doesn't mean I'm recommending we cut it. That's why I put not a recommendation, because everybody gets a little touchy when they see their contribution here. But one of the things that we have cut out of the budget is the economic development section. So we had a grant writer. That grant writer is no longer employed here, but we are utilizing the sheriff's grant writing capabilities to address any needs we have. The GSA director is acting basically as our economic development director. And as such, I think we could cut the Central Sierra Economic Development District contribution of 5820. I think we could cut that if you want.
Question on that. Belonging to that, does that open some doors to some funds? Not that we've seen much.
No, we haven't seen anything.
Haven't done anything in 2 years. In fact, they didn't even have a meeting last week. They couldn't get a quorum. That's how excitement that group's doing.
I mean, it's up to the board, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to cut something. So otherwise, just going through, Chambers at 60, ACT's at 81.5. The Film Commission's 3,000. We haven't, he hasn't utilized any of that. KVGC, we give 5 to, but that offsets the costs that they have for producing these filming the meetings and streaming the meetings.
I think I'd leave that alone because
Yeah, no.
I think it's nice for people to be able to see the meetings.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not recommending the,
Just bringing it out.
if we cut it, he might get up and leave right now.
Pull the plug on it.
And the art council's there for 3,500. Another question is tree mortality. We're still getting the 82.5% of our projects funded, but the 17.5% that we have to cover shakes out to about $20,000 a year.
You know my thoughts on that is I know we just had this major storm and I saw green trees down all over on houses and on roads. I didn't see any dead trees down. Maybe 1 or 2, but not almost none.
My dead tree is still sitting there, that son of a gun.
I think there's pretty good value to the people we represent in it. As far as I know, I do tree work. I can't bid in the ones in Amador County because I sit here. Darn it! But anyway, that's life. And what I've seen on the bids they've received for their projects, they come in really cheap for the work they're doing because they're doing a lot of trees. So you're getting that, just having a lot of trees, you get a lot better price. I think there's pretty good value in keeping that. At least there is, I think, the homeowners, because an individual tree might cost you, say, $2,000. Well, they're doing them for like probably $500. So I think there's a lot of value to residents. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that, but.
Well, let me run down the rest of these, and you can come back and
Okay.
and do some picking if you want. Fire dispatch is in there at 337. That's a contract between us and CAL FIRE that we pay to cover fire dispatch for the whole county. The cities don't pay anything. The special districts don't pay anything. It all comes out of our Prop 172 money, of which we give about $600,000 total to fire. Now, if we were to ask the cities to pay for it, I don't know if there's anything there to get, but it needs to be brought up. APAL's at 15,000. We're going to talk about that later here today. The ACCA's at 25,000. The Resource Conservation District will give $500 to the cemetery and volcano. Cemetery District and the Volcano Pioneer Cemetery District are both getting $1,500, and the Senior Center gets $30,000. The Board of Supervisors gets a discretionary fund of $7,000 per district. The library itself is a voluntary function, and I'm not saying that we should cut it, but if we were to cut it, it would be $836,000. The UCCE gets about 135. The archives gets 63, 679. That's only half of that function. Records is the other half. We have to do records, but we don't have to do the archives. The museum gets about $22,500, and we got about 175 going to Parks and Rec, which we just took over from ACRA. So anyway, those are the optional things that we do. Everything else is mandated. The one thing I did not include, and I usually do, and I forgot, is put me on the top of that list. You don't have to have a CAO. And
A rudderless ship, that'll go real well.
if you want to tell me to pack it up and head on, I will do so. But I'm not recommending that either. But
Can we talk more about that?
So anyway, I don't know whatever any direction on this.
I just have a couple questions, I guess, some of them. Just on the bigger numbers, on housing, do we know, it's mostly housing sales, I would assume, but I also know too that, Ion's been building a lot of houses, and that's kind of come to a real quick halt. There'll be a few coming in here and there. But I do know that until the water issue and all that stuff's resolved, that's pretty much not a hard moratorium, but it's pretty close as far as that goes. So that will be less housing coming online, which also, raises that trend line, just a heads up. Do we have any idea, like as far as sales tax, if that's specific sectors, or, I don't know if we haven't done a sales tax study or not. I know years ago when we were going through our process, when I was down in the city there, we were looking at kind of where we're bleeding at and trying to figure out if we're actually losing sales to outside areas or people are just constricted because of fuel and energy costs. So that's a lot that I suspect. But
We haven't done a study to identify, where exactly, if we've got areas that are dropping and they're being supplanted by areas that are increasing. That can happen, but we have not done the analysis.
Okay, I was just curious if we had any thoughts on that. And then, so with the jail costs, how much lower will that be this coming year from the expenses?
Oh, it'll go to zero.
Okay, all right.
You're talking about for the new jail?
Yes.
Yes, it should be completely resolved by the end of this fiscal year.
And how much did we spend last year? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'm just curious off the top of your head. That's fine. I'm just curious. And then the other one, I know previous experience, a lot of watching retirement trend lines, and typically those top tier classic members. Every classic member that retires, ends up being a significant savings. I'm not sure if we have any anticipation on that. I know just from say previous experience, every new hire saves you a bunch of money just because of their less experience, et cetera.
Every year they do a new actuarial report.
Okay.
Which takes all of that into account.
Okay.
And how many employees we have in each different tier, and the average age of our employees versus how long we think they'll work, and anticipated their salaries, because it does anticipate that their salaries will go up when those who have retired, when they will stop taking retirement.
Yeah.
It looks into all of that. CalPERS has a lot of actuarials. They're pretty accurate with that. If they could be a little bit better with their investments,
Yeah.
But
That's no joke there.
actuarials are good. Yeah.
I'm just looking, I know just from other reports we've had come before us that we know that we do have an aging population, just like most of our state, and we're seeing, that trend line kind of shift. So the need of resources for our older population is only going to increase. So I just kind of look at it that way right now. So,
I agree. This storm showed that.
no doubt.
There's a lot of older folks that are getting older every year, and as we all are, the folks that have a lot of needs up there and up country.
I think percentage-wise, the older citizens in our county I think they're beating the younger citizens in the race, and our numbers are increasing just demographics. But as far as you're looking like for cuts on the recommendations here, on the optional services basically.
Any changes in the optional services right now, and we'll get into larger questions towards the end. I still have a little bit more to cover.
So you want to base your thoughts on this list then?
Yes, on this now would be,
It seems like the Central Sierra Economic Development District, not much going on there, Pat? I mean, maybe that could go away. We could look at that a little deeper, but that could probably go away. Chamber of Commerce and ACT, I mean, you could probably cut them probably 5% each.
well, they're coming back to do their presentations next month.
Yeah.
I believe which meeting was it? Second meeting in March, they're gonna be here.
Do you want to talk about this list then as far as,
We can talk about those two later, but
Okay.
anything else you wanna change, now?
the Film Commission, how many films have we had in the last 10 years in this county?
The, Rich Hoffman is acting as our film commissioner, and,
Yeah.
but he has not, withdrawn any of those funds for any film-related purposes.
And appreciate his efforts on.
Yeah,
And
the
that.
three, we've had a number of people who've contacted us to look for assistance in filming. We want to film an ad, or we want to film a scene, and I just point them to him, and he takes care of them. But he's
Okay.
not utilizing his budget. $3,000 isn't gonna balance this.
No.
I was looking at, we're at 3,100,000, so minus $3,000 puts us at 3,000,000.
0001.
The hiring freeze we did last year that raised $1 million,
Yes,
if we do a hiring freeze for the rest of this year, we wouldn't realize that gain, because
I would expect
that we would.
Yeah. People come,
So big picture wise, if we just fine tune these 3,000 and 5,000, we'll be here forever trying to get to 3 million. The 5 million, if 42 million is what the general fund, a 5% cut would be about 2.4.
42 is what we're showing, and I've got a slide here, we'll get to that.
Oh, I'm getting ahead of you, okay.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we should start with the big look at the other end of the telescope and
Get down
No,
there.
I'm the same
Okay.
page as you, Pat. I mean, we were talking about this. I thought, hey, we
I didn't,
can
I
talk,
thought you
we can
were,
talk about it.
Oh, no, sorry.
yeah, let's let him finish.
In Parks and Recs, how will that be affected? I mean, because we're taking it over, I mean, will be some savings there? Will that just be kind of a,
Cost of
It's actually gonna cost is gonna go up,
that's what I figured, yeah.
we've hired, so we've got additional maintenance responsibilities, and we've got additional administrative responsibilities. The administration, can handle for the most part with staff that we already have. The maintenance is the challenge. So we've got 2 additional positions that we're hiring for that. That would be the savings. We would undo those positions if we were to save there. I don't think the board's gonna wanna do that, but, it's there.
So to be clear, we go make all these cuts to balance the budget, and that would put us with a budget that still gives the absolute bare legal minimum to fixing our roads.
Correct. There's no transfer to Public Works.
So all the people ordered a hamburger, and we're gonna tell them all these great things we did, and they're still not gonna get the hamburger. Okay.
That's probably about right.
So,
And on another big tick, being we were talking about big ticket items, I think something we should look at. I've said it for years, and I know we get a lot of pushback, and I don't know if you, now and then I get maybe I hate email or unhappy emails. I think it's all the take-home vehicles. I mean, that's a pretty substantial expense, and I'm not saying they can't take some vehicles home, some they should. Like right now, you've got those storms, you need to have Public Works taking home probably more vehicles than normal. Probably the sheriff's office, they take them home anyway. But I mean, something there's a need, you need it. But a lot of times, I think it's become probably an employment perk for some departments. And I know it's a nice perk, but when you have especially vehicles going out of the county, now if it's like command and control, I get it. Maybe they need that vehicle for the access to radios and yada, yada, yada. They also got handhelds, but I think we should look at take-home vehicles.
Can we see how much Can we kind of itemize what take-home vehicles cost to each department? Is there any way of itemizing that?
It's a little bit of a challenge just because you have to then identify exactly where each employee lives, which is not always.
But if we can, in general terms, we should be able to still partially see what it is.
Yeah, we can.
And I think that number goes up, as a real driver of that is the cost of fuel. I mean, I remember that, a few years back when fuel started really spiking, that's when we pulled back down below there, and just, it actually saved us quite a bit of money just because the fuel costs went so high. When fuel costs are low, it really is it's a negligible savings, but as that fuel cost creeps up, it gets become more and more of a challenge. That's kind of what we see.
Yeah, I think if you have an employee taking home a vehicle and they live in Jackson, your cost is not going to be too high. I mean, you got depreciation of the vehicle, but you got somebody taking a vehicle and they're going to Rockland or Vallejo or wherever, that vehicle's going to cost you a lot of money per
The
year.
life expectancy of that vehicle, goes down.
Gotcha. Okay, so our next steps, I am proposing that we will get our budget sent out to department heads with instructions for a submittal by March 10th. The budget will be sent out by March 10th, not that they will be returned by March 10th. That was, Kim was about to fall over.
What?
But I'm proposing a 5% reduction in general fund allocation. So that is your total expenditures minus your revenues and minus say 87, and then that's the amount that gets cut, 5%. So there are many departments that aren't going to be able to handle this, and next slide's going to show you some of those challenges. So our salary increases and other mandatory increases have been incorporated in the base budget. The general reserve right now is set at $7.7 million, which is where it's been since I've been here. It went up just a little bit because we were holding money for the jail, but the 7.7 is where it's always been. We've also got a payroll reserve at $3.08 million. And the board has authorized loans to capital improvement for the jail expansion of $3.41 million. Those will be paid off once the state pays us back for the amount that we've got for the jail.
But that's just one-time money.
It's one-time money, yeah. And in general, you don't want to spend one-time money for recurring costs. Always a bad idea. A more refined picture of the budget will be presented to the board, and this submittal will be discussed at the budget workshop on May 5th. So the board, we scheduled that during our meeting when we put the calendar together for the year. So May 5th is the budget workshop day. Putting this together, this is department by department, every department that gets general fund and how much general funds they get. There are a couple down there that I've got listed as non-negotiable. The energy conservation program for the non-negotiable is what we paid on debt service for the solar in the area. Operating transfers, that is various transfers. A lot of these have come down. The operating transfers included the debt service for this building, which will not be in the 26-27 budget, but are in the 25-26 budget. Grand jury costs, we have to pay for the grand jury, and there's a lot of interfund transfers that we're required by law to do, and we just can't cut those. The remainder of it is subject to cutting as the board sees fit to reduce, to make reductions. And so those cuts will be itemized, and we will talk about the impacts of those cuts at the budget workshop. So That's, so any direction, that's the, it's that time. So these are questions that I've got for the board. So, when we do the budget workshop, typically Public Works has not appeared on the day of the budget workshop, but has had its own item at a regular meeting. Do you want to do that with any other departments?
Didn't we do it with the sheriff a couple times?
We did it with the sheriff one time.
One time is all?
He couldn't make the regular, the budget workshop, and so we moved him to a different.
I think we'd like to have, at least I would, have him come in at a regular meeting.
Right.
The
Agreed.
DA,
No, I agree. You know,
probation,
The public safety units.
just
Yeah.
public safety.
Public safety.
you know, one thing too, Chuck, it looks like the jail's finalized, and it seems like it's came in not a whole lot of bleeding, which is good, real good, actually.
Yes, it is.
So there's that, so that's gonna be kind of, that unknown factor is gonna be off the table now.
Yes, that will, and yeah, we will, once we get an exact final number, where there's a little squabbling that we've got going on, but it's not a large number that we're fighting over. But, yes, we will come in and get direction on what to do with those funds.
Something else, I think what Supervisor Carnell brought up as far as roads, that concerns me. I mean, roads need some funding, and I understand we have a squeeze, but maybe we squeeze a little harder, we can keep a little money back still put a little money towards our roads, because we really need to. Another item of interest, just looking down the road, Shenandoah Valley, they're having real financial issues out there. I think you will probably see some of the facilities are gonna, some of the wineries are gonna go broke. I mean, that's coming. Or go out of business, be sold. When they sell, they're gonna probably sell for a lot less than they're appraised at, is my guess. As far as the facilities, a lot of the properties in Williamson Act, that won't change. And I think a fair amount of the grape acreage out there is probably gonna go away. And so I'm saying, looking at it, down the road, the tax base is gonna take a little hit, and even the sales tax base already has. And I guess the question is, you know, is it gonna recover 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, or is it gonna be the new normal? And that's something we gotta look at, just as far as,
The sales
Finances.
tax from Shenandoah, that region was significant when they were in their heyday several years ago. Yeah, that has definitely led to part of the stagnation.
yeah, they're having a real hard time. And that's gonna affect the county to a certain degree too.
So any changes to the funding suggestions that we've got here? Any changes to the assumptions that we've made?
So I think we still need to freeze some positions.
Yep, we're getting there. Oh, wait, no, yep. So what, yep, item number 5 there on that list is hiring freeze.
I think that 5% cut across the board is probably good. I don't know if it'll be enough. Maybe the freeze and the 5% may be, because I think there's some departments, like, take surveying. It's really small, but it's operating bare bones. I don't think they got 5% to give.
No, I agree.
You've got that written in there that you can appeal it if it's gonna cost you an employee.
Yes, right. I mean, we will talk about what that would take.
I never asked this before, but the maintenance of effort has been 880,000 since I've been on.
Yep. It
Is
hasn't
that
changed.
a number that's set?
It's a number
Or do we
that's set.
decide
No, it's set by the state. So, yes, and they actually, what was it, maybe 12, 13 years ago, they relieved us of the requirement to meet that maintenance of effort. And we actually cut Public Works back further at that time. But then they came back and said, you have to meet the maintenance of effort in order to collect the gas tax. So that way, you've got a little skin in the game along with the gas tax.
I guess, could we raise it to like $1.2 million?
Yeah, last year we
So
had
we
an
keep
addition-
funding it every year going forward?
we
Just,
can-
you know, a little at a time, trying to get that up?
We can have an additional contribution, and we will put that in the operating transfers, intra-fund transfers.
So you have some, you know, like the one-time money that we still have, so we can put part of that into our roads.
Oh, absolutely, and
Okay.
that would be what I would think the board would direct me to do.
Right,
Once we know how much money that.
right. And then come back with the take-home vehicles, what we can, you know, what that cost generalized looks at, and see where we can do something in that aspect.
Put that together.
I think also, like, I haven't, it might be a year or two old, how many vehicles each department takes home. I think one of them had like, I think it was probation, off the top of my head, it seemed like they had like 15 take-home vehicles, which seemed pretty high to me. It's just something I'd like to look at.
Yeah, okay. We can put that information together for you and bring it back to.
And when ACT and the chamber come, because they've had funding sources now, they should be getting more sufficient. At least that's what it said on paper when we agreed to. I know the chamber is still growing, and they've got that wall on the side of the building now. So maybe our cut to those two wouldn't, because we never said we were gonna take them on as orphans. They were supposed to.
Well, our TOT tax, when it comes time to talk about that, but our TOT tax is a general tax. It is not a restricted tax. I know there are other cities that have their TOT restricted towards tourism-oriented expenditures. We don't have that restriction. We passed it as a general tax, which required 50% approval in order to get on the books. So that's where we are. There's no restriction, and there's no pot of money that we're taking out of to give this money to. It's coming straight out of the general fund. And so there's a little difference here when we're talking about that, and that'll be a month away still. But so the hiring freeze, item number 5, that's going to be a hard hiring freeze, which means that I'm not going to have the authority to waive it. So there have been times when I say, go forward, we'll advertise and we'll ask the board. And I'm not going to do that because this is how we're going to make that budget work, is by saving these positions. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at layoffs, and I don't want to do that. And I think if we take these steps, we can avoid layoffs now and into the future. And we just need to, when we freeze the positions, we're freezing them for the rest of this fiscal year, and you look at freezing them for next fiscal year too, or deleting them altogether.
I know we're talking cuts right now, but also have we seen any places where things are growing? I mean, I know like there's the casino coming online, the plant out there in my district that they're working on right now. There's got to be some revenue generation there, I would suspect. Is there places where anything's growing at all? I mean,
Not that I'm aware of, no.
okay.
There's not a lot of growth right now.
LAFCO only met about 4 times last.
Yeah.
They'd be involved in the growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the state as a whole is contracting, so.
Yeah, I mean, energy costs are going through the roof. The refinery shutting down. It's looking pretty grim. I mean, every dollar a gallon that goes up, it's taking it right out of our bottom line. I mean, on how I run my budget, it's like, well, I guess I can't do that because there's another $40 that I don't have, and it just seems to go like that as fuel costs go up. And it seems like I know the PG&E is going to be down a little bit this year, but they're saying insurance is going up 10 to 14%. So I mean, it's right back there.
To address Brian's point, could we put a vehicle buying freeze?
On some departments, we could, yeah.
You know, something else, you talked about energy, and one problem with getting older is you have a memory, and I remember when we were gonna go green and energy was gonna be plentiful and cheap and yada, yada, yada. All I know is looking at, and probably the fires might be part of it too, but PG&E rates in about the last 25 years like quadrupled. And when you're at the time of use, it's went up even higher. And you think about like, there's certain hard commodities that you use, and whether it's, you know, fuel, food, energy, there's certain things you need to live, and energy affects everything. I mean, not just the lights, but everything you see in here is, a lot of stuff is manufactured by energy or moved by energy here. And when you quadruple your energy cost, your cost of living, cost of doing business just went way up. And I know, like, I have a gentleman in my district who has a business, and he's saying, hey, is there anything we can do about energy costs in this county, this state? It's a huge problem. But we've been talking about how we're gonna go green, save the world, and all I see is our forests burn and our jobs go away. One thing I'd like to look at somewhere down the road is there's Pioneer Energy. It's like basically look at co-ops, and they're not taking over PG&E, but what they're doing is they're using PG&E's lines to sell power at a cheaper rate to customers. And I talked to a lady a while back about, I think it's over in Nevada City, and you know, they've already had some other entities join them, and they're kind of trying to get that finalized. They're not looking to bring any other entities on, but I think it's something we should look at maybe down the road. Just look at it.
I'd like to comment on all this. I think we've been hired by the people to provide public safety and infrastructure. And every year the budget gets balanced, but it seems to get balanced by just not doing infrastructure. So here we are again, we're gonna make all our cuts and we're gonna continue. I just feel like it's not balanced because there's a debt that's owed, and even though we're really struggling financially, we still owe this debt. And I think we should be increasing what we put towards infrastructure. The first thing I did when I got this job was testify before a grand jury because we haven't fixed our roads. So we're at a moment here, I think we should look a little bit more scorched earth. Ask for a larger cut. All of these, like, non-mandatory, I mean, obviously dispatch has to stay, and I think libraries have to stay, but, I mean, cut our discretionary fund completely, and then all these other ones, cut them in half. Just across the board, everybody gets cut in half, other than the ones we can remove altogether, like the Film Commission. And then look at something more like a 6% cut. Because if all we do is cut to barely pass the budget, we're right back at the bare minimum to roads, other than one-time money, which is not a consistent way to move forward. So those are just some thoughts.
I would support cutting the supervised discretionary funds. I don't say it's zero. There's some stuff we do. I mean, I guess you could. You give out scholarships to the high schools, that kind of.
We'd cut it in half, then we'll just.
Yeah, that'd probably work.
You know, the only part of that problem is it's also my travel budget, you know, and I go to, you know, like I'm going to PG&E on Friday.
Right.
So that's the only thing I gotta push back just a little bit, because I don't have a county vehicle that I can use. I've got to use my own personal vehicle.
You don't have a take-home vehicle?
I don't have a take-home. I got my own take-home vehicle. It's a 2018 Ford F-150. That is my take-home vehicle that I own.
don't think anybody has a take-home vehicle there.
That the county doesn't pay me for.
It's an almost impossible number to get, but I estimate we have well over 50 take-home vehicles and maybe more. So.
Have we ever looked at a voluntary furlough program? I know in the past.
We have a voluntary furlough program.
You mean, okay.
It's in effect. People can voluntarily take a 10% pay reduction, and so working 36 hours a week, generally 4 9s, and they still collect benefits as if they were a full-time employee.
And circling back around what Logan said, he is right. As far as general thought, I mean, can we kind of like what he has on this? Absolutely, probably not. But do we need to make some accommodations in the budget? Because what I've seen over the years, no offense to myself, previous supervisors, present supervisors, we say, oh my gosh, we got to fix the roads, and it's a big problem. But I've kind of learned if we don't put it in the budget, it won't happen. And the thing is, how do you, I mean, so if you put X amount of money in that budget, I think things will move around and it'll happen. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
I would typically agree with you, except for this year, there's a lot of money that's coming towards Public Works. And they will have their hands full spending it all. And, ultimately, the expenditure needs to be made, the budget needs to be altered so that it happens year over year.
And that's what I'm
we in a
saying.
position
So
for a
if we put
reset
that
now?
money in the budget,
Can we like reset the ship? at
put it in
this
a pot.
point?
Yeah, if you want, we can, yeah.
I mean, so I understand there is quite a bit of money going towards roads right now this year. All I'm still looking at is, okay, maybe we can get some more money towards Public Works. Can't they just put it in a bucket and then they can use it next year?
Well, we could transfer it into their, we can transfer it into their account and.
And that way there, it'll be in the budget for the next year, hopefully the next year. I understand, Chuck, that, yeah, it may be asking a lot, maybe it's not doable, but I'd like to really be able to try to get there. We need to be there.
We've got the new equipment that ACTC's bought for us, all we need to do is pay for material and labor, and we'll be putting it down ourselves. And, yes.
And we could also look at it, I mean, these are other thoughts that I'm having, like in a household with a tight budget, if your heater breaks, you go scorched earth on everything else until you get your heater fixed. And so you don't just keep paying towards the heater that you put in. Now you turn your head towards the next thing that's obviously going to break. And as of right now, public safety, they're well provisioned. They've got all the top of the line equipment and all the best, all the brand new vehicles. So we're not saying we're going to just ignore them forever, but that heater's fixed for now. Can we go fix our dishwasher? You know, with that, I mean, have you seen the service truck at Public Works? It's like older than me.
Come on, we repaired it, and we
That
replaced
baby
that one.
blue one
Yeah,
was headed up the road at like 23 miles an hour, just.
He loves that
Don't-
truck.
Don't be dissing on Steve Rizzoli's truck.
Okay.
Steve will
Just
take that
saying, that
personal.
heater's about to break, and then we're gonna have to.
The only 3-speed in the county.
I think we did a okay new service truck last year, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm just making a point.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No, I don't disagree. It's kind of like, there was a particular elected official who was bad-mouthing me in Facebook, and I thought about going on there and saying some stuff back. You know what? I'm not going to go there. But,
Yeah, I'm not war against public safety. I'm just saying they're pretty well provisioned right now. Not saying we won't re-provision in the future, but
no, and
it's like
I guess what I'd say too is, I know Chuck was a little bit chagrined, but we hired or rented a grader because we don't have a 6x6 grader, and we had roads that were one lane, maybe a little more, a little less, and you got people trying to go to work, trying to get home. That's public safety too. I know I was driving some of those roads, like, you're going like, okay, am I going to wipe out my mirror or door, or, what's going to happen going by, and I know there's one road is going, God, I hope I meet nobody here, because this stupid thing's one lane, and there's no turnouts for quite a ways. And Public Works, they were doing their best. I think actually they did pretty good considering what hit them. But I think it'd be really nice if they had a 6x6 grader, so you could go in there and clear those roads out and open them. And I'm not throwing rocks at Mr. Eiley. I think Chuck's done a very good job, and I appreciate his efforts over the years. I really think he's been a godsend to this county. It's made it a very nice operation. I talk to people that come here, and they say, geez, it's so nice doing business in Amador County. The staff is so nice, and it's a nice experience. So I think it's kind of kept the county stable, good place to work, probably a good place to go do business. We just got that road issue, which it's a monster. I wish we could have done some cuts 20 years ago maybe and been putting $1 million a year towards the roads. We probably wouldn't have quite the issue we have now. But hey, we're a small county, funds are limited, and I think we need to kind of really tighten our belt and try to look at seeing how we can get more money towards roads.
That storm also revealed the cost of 50% of our homes not being primary residences. All those little old ladies up there have empty houses as their neighbors. Just no one to help. And I saw that a lot while I was up there. The vacation home problem. That's totally off the subject, but I just thought of
Well,
that.
it's part of it.
So Chuck, where do we go from here?
Any other direction?
I think that's enough for right now.
Okay, so the budget calendar, some of these dates don't match what was earlier, what I showed earlier. These are the dates that are important. So I changed some of your dates, Kim.
Okay.
But the departments will get their budgets, so get them back to us by the end of March. I might move that back so I can do the meetings with the departments on April 1st to the 8th, and then we'll get where we are back to the budget workshop May 5th. Ultimately, with the intent of bringing a balanced budget to the board on June 9th for the recommended budget, and then we'll bring final budget back September 8th. Any other questions, comments? Anything else? Speak now, but we're going to do a hard hiring freeze. Everything that's out there right now, we're going to bring back.
Are we gonna get an updated list of take-home vehicles by department?
Yes,
Okay.
and we will do that, and then I will put that on the upcoming agenda.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. So, all right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay,
Good job.
I think we can get the next one done before 10:30. The addendum 125A1, I'd like to start this out with, hold on just for a second before you hit play. This is from Steve. This video is from Steve, one of my constituents. I can't tell you how demoralized I am. This is truly devastating. A week ago, I had 3 acres of clear property and was actively working on building a shop and a garage. My property lost so many fruit trees, buildings, trucks, boats, Japanese maples, dogwoods, red buds, and any optimism that I might have had for the future. I have also so much fuel on the ground I don't think I'm even clearing by this summer, and most of it scary, dangerous, on record. So if you wouldn't mind playing the video, please. This is Amador Pines.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Brian.
Wow.
So personally, I want to thank CAL FIRE, Pine Grove Camp. They've had 4 crews out there working, our own deputies, AFPD, plus volunteers to include Supervisor Neto, Supervisor Carnell, cutting trees numerous times, helping everybody out. So I truly appreciate all the work that's been done up there.
Public Works.
And Public Works, yeah, of course, our Public Works, the guys that get forgotten about all the time because they're out there 24 hours, 7 days a week doing their thing. So I would like us to ratify the proclamation that was done by the sheriff.
Move to approve and ratify the proclamation.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And so,
Should we squeeze the egg salad in there?
yeah, we could probably do that.
I don't think she wants to come up after our last conversation.
Temper.
Yeah, we can keep going.
Okay, well, we got a 10:30, so we just gotta,
It probably won't be that long.
okay,
Come on up.
come on up. You know what, actually, I did not call for public comment on that. Does anybody want a public comment on the resolution? I don't see anybody on Zoom, okay. Oh, it has been hard, I will tell you that. It has definitely been Groundhog Day in the upcountry. Go outside, turn your generator on, shovel snow. Turn your generator off, go inside and stay warm.
Dodge trees.
Dodge trees.
Use that mic.
We had employees who couldn't make it to work, and I also had to stay in town so that I didn't miss my own party. So I totally understand the severe conditions that we had, and, you know, our community, you just can't say enough about how great everybody is
It's,
when they pull together.
and I've been, as I'm running around on my tractor, I've been watching so many other people run around on their tractors.
Yep.
It's just a wonderful thing to see.
Yes, yes. So I want to just go backwards a little bit. One of the things that John Hopkins said to me years ago was, don't just look year to year, because that's how I was getting myself disappointed and working so hard and not getting very far with the pets and the animal population in Amador County. But I was able to go back to 1988, when the shelter would routinely take in more than 2,400 animals. In the 1990s, APAL became very active, and we have, together with the county, gotten to where we've only been taking in half of that, or about 1,200 animals a year. I looked at the actual statistics while I was sitting here during your budget meeting, and last year the shelter took in 1,191 animals, so it was pretty close. But we really have a cat problem, and we need to get on it. The shelter took in 524, and we took in about 800. And you might say, okay, you crazy people, why are you taking in all these cats? Well, every one of them we consider to be an opportunity to get them spayed or neutered. We did have to stop intake several times last year, which we hate to do, but we are a business, so we have to be reasonable about what we do, and that's why we look at every program, every dollar. We are business people, and we try to be very careful with what we're doing, and cats are a serious problem, and it came directly from COVID, when for several years the veterinarians were not doing anything other than emergency services. We spayed and neutered 1,212 animals last year, and about 800 were cats. If those cats were not spayed or neutered, in a year, they could produce 14,000 more cats. So we're trying to stay ahead of it, but I'll be honest, they're getting away from us. And one of the problems is that you have really high veterinary costs. If you look at the little chart that we gave you, you can see that our low-income program went from $85 average in 2021 to 2025, $256. So that's a tripling of the costs, and people can't afford that. So when we spoke with you before, we listened, and we increased their copay. There's no program that doesn't have a copay anymore. Even the Medi-Cal recipients, which we have them bring us the Medi-Cal information, there's a $30 cat copay, and there's a $100 dog copay. So we're having people buy into what we're doing to help them. But we really want to get ahead of the cats, and we're asking for your support. Last year, we spent $133,000 only on spay and neuter. And so we're asking for about a tenth of that, or $15,000, to help us offer to the public $60 cat spay neuter. I just can't say it enough. What we do directly impacts your shelter, and we've been really good about helping bring the numbers down. And we don't want to see them go back up again, because the animals suffer, the residents suffer, and it's just the humane and right thing to do to try to help people with the pets that they have and get them spayed or neutered.
What do you think is driving all the extra cats? Is it just
COVID.
COVID?
It's absolutely COVID. If you have 3 years of not doing the spay neuters, we couldn't get appointments.
I mean, is it like people with a lot of cats, or is it stray cats, or is it?
It's feral cats and stray cats. Even the shelter shut down because they couldn't get spay neuter appointments. I mean, you can't take the cats if you can't get rid of the cats. You got to have a flow, and the flow basically stopped for 3 years. And cats are so efficient at multiplying. They are. They're just too efficient.
Susan, another question. The city of Jackson was in yesterday questioning what the county's charging them if people surrender a cat. You spay and neuter surrendered ones too, right?
Are you asking if we charge?
I'm going to bring the mic over to you.
Do you charge the people to leave them with you?
Absolutely, we do.
Okay.
Yes. And we even ask them, for instance, there were some people recently where a man was dying, and he had 3 cats. This happens a lot. People don't plan for their future. And I'm not asking for $25. I'm saying, you're leaving me senior cats. You're selling the house that this man lives in. We expect you to leave money to APAL to help care for these cats. We're doing everything we can, and no, we are charging a $25 surrender fee. I can tell you what's happening is that we are picking up a lot of animals that the shelter probably would have picked up in the past, and if there's an emergency, the most horrible one was the elementary school where a cat had been hit by a car. The people called the shelter referred them to the police didn't answer the phone, and so we sent somebody out there immediately because we don't want a dying cat in front of elementary students. So that's one thing that I would love if the county would, again, cover the cities, because instead of everybody working together, we have this one, you call that person, you call, and people just don't know what to do, including us sometimes. We don't know. We don't have the chameleon program that tells the shelter which people who are calling you are city people or county people. And frankly, people really don't care. They just want service.
As to the cities, they're 40% of the population of the county, and they pay less than 10% of the cost of the animal shelter. So
I get it, but we operated for years and years much more harmoniously, and I'm not sure it's not costing more in goodwill because the staff is increased, And, you know, people expect services, and they have no control over what the city can and cannot afford. And I think when I was here last, everybody said they can't afford it. So it's kind of a catch-22. I've had cities ask if we'll contract with them, and I've said, no, we're not set up like that to be able to contract with you. So I'm not gonna get in that battle, because it's not what we do. We're a humane society, so we're all about spay-neuter programs and helping prevent the overpopulation and suffering of animals.
But if they're just gonna surrender them, that's an elective thing they're doing.
Yep.
They ought to pay $100 or so.
Well,
the
you know,
cost.
unfortunately, there are some people who just can't afford it. And we work for the animals. So there was a lady who, she lost her husband, she lost her home, she had 3 kids trailing behind, and she went to the shelter, and they said they could not waive the fee. And she had a stinky, I mean, male cats that are not neutered, they stink, something awful. And so we took her cats, and she paid us $20. That's what she had, that's what she could afford. You know, we have the ability to be a little more flexible, and that's what we try to do, because we want to get those cats spayed and neutered. That's our job.
She the exception or more than?
She is the exception, yes, yes. Most people will gladly pay 25, some people will pay 100. Yeah, it just
Start out
depends.
100 and drop back.
What you'll find is that if the surrender is too high, then they'll just dump them somewhere.
Well, the cost of dumping appliances at the transfer station went up, and now they just line the roads. Washers and dryers are off the
And
edge.
couches.
And couches.
I have a couch on the side of my road. Yeah, it's terrible.
So I will say that even though I had this on the list as the optional thing, this is one of the things I think that really complements what animal control does, and you know, there's a definite benefit, and I think we receive more than we pay on this one.
Oh, praise God, I was not going home to my wife, and I cut baby kittens.
I was just trying to improve their revenues.
Oh, we appreciate that. We do, you know, I had people who were shocked that I would call somebody with a dying relative and say, look, you got to step up. You want us to take your 3 cats? You got to pay for them. They're seniors.
My wife and I had this conversation yesterday because we had to put a dog down, and the cost of putting a dog down has increased dramatically.
It's, yeah,
And I don't have the constitution to do it myself anymore.
yep.
Never did. Okay, anybody else from the public like to speak on this? Come on up.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to listen to me. My name is Abra Harris, and I was coming here today to respectfully ask for some funding be allocated for low-cost spay and neuter, just to, piggyback off what Susan said, and she did a great job, so it's hard to come up and speak after Susan. So it's just not an animal welfare issue, it's a fiscal responsibility, and every year there's so many unwanted litters that are born simply because families, they can't afford it. It's like $800 plus to get a female spayed at our local vets, and it's so much money. So when those animals end up abandoned or surrendered, and then the cost, it shifts back to the animal shelter, or, you know, for shelter intake, medical care, housing, staffing, animal control services, or it goes back to local rescues, which every rescue I know is bursting at the seams. So I would just say that prevention costs are far less than the reaction. So spaying or neutering one animal is significantly less expensive than caring for the animals, or potentially the entire litter that will end up in the shelter system. So by investing in low-cost clinics, mobile services, or voucher programs, the county can reduce stray populations, decrease shelter overcrowding, lower euthanasia rates, and reduce long-term taxpayer expenses. So these programs would help seniors, fixed-income families, hardworking residents who love their pets, but just can simply not afford several $100s for a surgery at a private clinic. So funding spay and neuter services breaks the cycle of the source. It's humane, proactive, and financially responsible. So I really ask that you consider allocating some funds to maybe getting the SNP bus up here, just some lower cost spay and neutering, but, so,
For dogs.
yes. And I currently, every day, I work with a rescue, and every day someone calls us and asks to surrender their dog, and we have to turn them away. So, and what he said is, and then they get dumped. So, I'd really like to see, like, mobile services or something come up for low-cost spay and neuters. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, anybody, oh, we got a one
We
on
do have a
Zoom.
comment via Zoom. Go ahead when ready.
Hello, my name is Ann York. I will say I moved from another county, and I picked up a stray in the middle of nowhere and chose to adopt her. I have been quoted $2,200 to spay that dog. I can't afford it. I went to look to see what resources are available. There aren't any. Only if you are on Medi-Cal. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's shocking, the lack of services that are available in our county. And I think that things need to start changing right now. And that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, what, I'm sorry?
May I respond to her?
Sure.
I can put you in touch with a low-cost, large dog clinic. So please call APAL.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, back to the supervisors.
What if we keep it the same by taking, so instead of it costing 15, it would cost 10, and we take 1,000 out of each of our discretionary funds? So instead of 7, we have 6 moving forward, and then their cost stays the same, and ours gets diminished too, because everybody's about to get a cut. We should get one too. We could do it right here. Just a thought.
Well, I think we're to take a cut towards roads. I'd say just leave if you want to leave their funding like it is, that's probably treating them pretty well.
And give them another 1,000 for dogs. We could do that. Up it a little bit.
Well, they're only doing cats. APAL only does cats.
What about the dogs?
We do the dogs, but we don't do the dogs with this program because
You just-
cats are our problem.
Yeah, okay, I thought maybe you're discriminating against the dogs.
No. Of that 1,200 animals that we spayed and neutered, about 400 of those were dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have programs for dogs, but the cost is really high, so it's sometimes more prudent to go to a low-cost clinic that's out of county.
And I mean, and if supervisors want to give discretionary funds to APAL, I mean, they can do that.
And if you want to specify dogs, we're happy to have a program that's dogs. But you can see with dogs, with cats, it's not so expensive, but with dogs, if you have a big one, it's really expensive. So your budget could be gone in 4 or 5 dogs.
Well, I saw that a number of years ago. I used to go to Ralph Milanovich, and Ralph was actually, had the highest veterinary score of UC Davis ever. Might still have it. At that time, he did. And Ralph retired, and I went to another place to have a sticker taken out of the dog's ear. And at Ralph's, you'd go and you talk about the weather and you talk about politics, and then he'd say, "Come on, help me throw a dog up." And he's at the table, and he'd take the sticker out of the ear, and he asked you, "Dog doesn't bite, does he?" And I said, "I don't know, Ralph. I don't think so." He's, "Well, hold him." And he talked about the weather some more, and I thought he charged me $20. And so when he retired, I went to another veterinarian, and I went in, and they didn't even say hi to me. They asked the dog what the dog's name was, and I was slightly offended, so I said, "That was dog." They said, "Pardon me?" I said, "That's dog." And I almost felt bad. And the young lady's a little bit discombobulated, and I saw his name is Spot. And I thought they'd have me go in the back, throw the dog on the table like Ralph, take a sticker out of the ear and go on my way and charge me maybe $50 for modern times. But instead, she had a very white smock, I remember, spotless. They said, come back at 5 o'clock and pick up the dog, which I did. And she came out with the king's crown and presented me with this plastic bag with a little sticker and one tick. And I didn't know what all the rigmarole was about. They got the bill. And it was like $175. That's going back 10 years ago. So I told Ralph about it. And cigarette about fell out of his mouth. He said, I never charge any more than $10 to take a sticker off a dog's ear. So I understand how your costs are going up.
Okay.
Sorry about that, but we got to lighten things up a little
We're
bit.
getting a drum thing going on over here.
Thank you.
Okay, we still need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the $15,000 provide for low-cost spay and neuter Amador County resident cats.
Okay, we have a first and second. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anybody need to take a break? If not, we will recess the Board of Supervisors meeting and convene the Board of Equalization of Directors, and then we'll take a break. Thank you.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you, lady.
So we're calling the order of the Board of Equalization. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
Okay. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Come on up, guys. You should have been walking up by now. We now have the assessor stipulation for appeal 25-15, APN 038-430-2002, Hamilton.
Hey, good morning. Jeff Himmelman, I'm the assistant assessor. This was similar to the last one. The property owner filed an appeal before asking about an informal assessment review. So they submitted a private appraisal. We did our own appraisal and agreed that a reduction was warranted. So the new value is 544.5.
Now, is this because of the, per se, the downturn in the market that's going on right now?
Yeah, I think in this case, the owner might have paid a little too much for it 2 years ago when he bought it. So was it factored up and the market's kind of stayed the same? The small reductions warranted.
Okay. Any other from the public? Supervisors? Any questions? Nope. Okay, do I have a motion to accept this stipulation?
So moved.
Okay. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, March 10th at 11 a.m. We will now reconvene the Board of Supervisors meeting, but we will go on a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 11. Okay, going back from recess, going to 5.C, discussion of possible action relative to proposed amendments of Chapter 7.3 to Amador County Code regarding defensible space requirements.
Morning, Supervisors. I'm going to handle this.
Okay.
So, AFPD staff prepared a staff report. It's in your packet. This comes as a recommendation from you gentlemen as the AFPD board to sort of formalize something in connection with the good neighbor policies, dealing with allowing, sort of facilitating clearing on a neighbor's parcel so you can get the 100-foot from a structure or a home. The staff had put something together as a proposed language amendment. It was that section on page 24 of your packet. And I wasn't sure that that was comprehensive enough or clear enough or necessarily in the right location of where it would go in the code. So as an alternative, I prepared a proposed ordinance. It's page 32 through 34 of your packet, and on page 33, it's the underlined language. That's what I drafted as the proposed amendment, and if that sort of fits what the intent of the board as the AFPD board and what the Board of Supervisors would like to encourage, then you can move forward. And if you have any questions, you can ask me, or AFPD is here as well.
You know, I like the idea of having something that's available for people. I mean, I had a hard time with saying making it mandatory. Maybe in subdivisions you might, where it's like close lots. I think it's a good step, though. I think encourage people, saying, hey, you have a vehicle they can use. That's probably the legal framework, so they don't have to go hire a lawyer or something. And something the county has, it's met the smell test. So
yeah, I've looked it over, and I've added in here that it's to make it clear that, you know, you're not required to clear past the property line, and you're not necessarily required to let your adjoining neighbor onto your property to do the clearing. But if you have two willing participants and they're just not certain about how to move forward, this packet can facilitate them doing so. So,
yeah, I like it.
That's good. I like it. It's cleans up a lot of the issues, and hopefully it'll, I don't know what compliance will be like, but it'd be interesting to find out, and hopefully it encourages people to do the right thing and get along with their neighbors a little bit better and help them out.
Anything else from the supervisors?
Perfect.
Okay, anybody from the public? Anybody on Zoom?
Not at this time.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve this?
I make that motion.
Second.
Okay.
so the action would be to waive the reading of the proposed amendment and schedule for adoption at the
At March 10th.
March 10th, the next meeting on consent.
I make that motion.
Okay. Do you adopt your second?
Yes.
Okay. Call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 5.D, further discussion and possible action relative to commitment by the board to obtain the Clean California Community Design for Amador County.
Supervisors, we met with staff who've been involved in this, from code enforcement to waste management, and evaluate the 15 criteria that we have to commit to at least 10 of them in order to get that Clean California designation. We believe that we can actually qualify for all 15 with a little bit of tweaking. There may be some resources for signage, some resources for cigarette, trash can, things up at the park, things like that. Nothing that's going to be significant, but there would be some. So one of the requirements of this is that we create a body to oversee this whole thing. So my recommendation to you before we actually make that commitment was for the board to create a committee that would ultimately become that body. And we'll have an ad hoc committee meeting with staff, and we can go through all those 15 items, and then let that committee come back with a recommendation to.
Question on that, Chuck. It says it could be part of an existing committee or body.
It can be, yeah.
I'd rather not start a new committee, just maybe put in with something else. 'Cause I think this is kind of it's something you look at, or maybe it's not going to be a heavy lift ongoing. It's going to do a little bit of something, get that designation. You can have a committee that on occasion might talk about something. I mean.
Well, we've got, so there are things like, you've got to have a minimum of 4 cleanup days a year, things like that. And right now, Michelle Gallagher already oversees 3, so we would need to add a 4th, things like that.
I think maybe you could, I'm not sure, but I believe you could probably even do one that maybe other communities do, like as part of it, like Native Sons do cleanups, and I think Rotary might too. I think I'd qualify, I believe, but I'm not sure on that. I think it would.
Well, that's the kind of thing that we would talk about
Flush out.
at the.
What committee you recommended to merge this with?
Maybe solid waste.
If you want, there's a lot of things that Jeff does that would fall into these criteria.
That's why I was thinking that, yeah.
So that's fine.
Don't tell Jeff.
Oh, he was in our meeting. He knows it's coming.
Okay. I think that'd be one to dovetail in pretty good.
Sure. So we'll set up a meeting and we'll talk about it. Michelle had another document that has more detail on each one of the 15 items, and that is in your packet as well. So.
Yeah, no, I'm cognizant of not trying to put a whole lot of burden on staff or more cost. It looked to me like this is kind of low-hanging fruit. Maybe might help get some grants, and I think sometimes they'll program you, if you have a city or something that wants to do some beautification, flowers or whatever, and it might be a vehicle to get them some help on it.
Well, that's what worked up, like I said, last time was at the Veterans Hall. They, Clean California worked with the UCCE and Master Gardeners. And that's how we got all the work done they actually got a grant that did part of the work around the Veterans Hall. And voluntary sucker supervisors.
Yes.
No, I didn't say that.
I see this, speaking of volunteering, I was going to cut some trees at the ball field in your district for.
Well, somebody's told me that one of the trees fell at the ball for it.
One of them we marked, they're trying to get permission from the BLM. Yeah, it takes a while to go through feds, and in the meantime, it fell across the fence, and.
Did it? I haven't
talked
been up.
about for as long as I've been alive, and it finally just fell on its own.
Yeah.
Exactly. That tree actually hung out so far over the foul line that you could hit a fair ball and it would hit the tree. So it needed to go. Little fence repair.
Okay, so do I have them, actually, public? Zoom? Okay. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Well, what's your motion, though? Because
Are
you
we-
kind of made it
I
sideways.
thought it was just direction.
It's to refer it to the Waste Management Committee. Would be the direction. I would
Okay,
feel
you want
like.
just direction then?
Direction.
Okay.
Okay.
Direction?
I think Chuck said it, refer it to Waste Management Committee, solid waste.
Okay. So we don't need a vote on this.
I think, I think we may need a commitment at some point, though.
Yeah, I would think let the committee go through each of the 15 items and really understand what we're talking about in terms of resources.
Okay.
And then come back with that
So
recommendation.
it shouldn't be too long, because I think this needs to be done, I think by June, I believe. And so we should be okay then. Okay.
Well, we went through each one of the 15 items, so we would just repeat it all to you, but,
Okay.
yeah, I think it would make me more comfortable to have at least two of you fully understanding what it is that we're getting into.
I'm good.
Who's on the Waste Committee? Do you happen to know?
I think I am, I believe.
Okay, I don't remember who the, might be me, as far as I know.
I think I am, yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, on to 5E, discussion and possible action relative to the waiver of pet licensing fees for veterans over age of 60 living in Amador County. This would apply to veterans who have obtained a veteran's designation on their driver's license.
I received a letter from someone under the urging of another supervisor to ask this question, so I just thought we could ask. He has a dog for, he's a veteran and he's a senior citizen and he has a dog for PTSD, and he asked if he could not pay his licensing fee. So I was kind of wondering what number of people we're talking about here, and whether we could just waive the fee for somebody who can prove that they're a veteran and that they're a senior citizen. Is that the right terminology?
Close enough, yeah.
So let me start by saying that I asked Evan about this and we traded some phone messages, but I have not had a chance to dig into it deep with him. But Evan, come on up. And I guess the question is going to be, how many of these, do we have any idea how many people this would really affect?
Evan Jacobs, Director of Animal Control. Unfortunately, I don't think I would have any way of tracking that. We do have a service dog exemption, and that's pretty loose definition. That was before my time of what, so it could be emotional support or actually, some sort of disability, and we waive fees of that. For veteran, we don't have anything on the books. The state of California, I believe in 2020, did it with if you have veteran on your driver's license, not your military ID, but your driver's license, you can get one free animal waiver of adoption fees for every 6 months. Since I've been here, I can think of two off the top of my head.
That's already on the books then.
Well, for waiving of adoption fees,
Right.
not for licensing.
Oh, I
So
see.
if we want to follow something similar to the
One
state.
free.
One free dog or cat every 6 months. Since I've been here for 4 years, just about 4 years, I think we've had 2, maybe 3, that people that have come and used that, privilege, I don't know the right word for that. So for the licensing, you could follow somewhat of possibly of the same suit, or if you want to make it a little broader, I think the fees on that are going to be fairly nominal as well.
What is the fee for somebody over the age of 60 to license?
So there's a senior license, I believe it's 65 or older, so it's half the fee. So if and this is strictly altered animals. So it has to be spay or neutered. So I think the 1 year is 6, and a 3 year is like 12, and then there's a 2 year that's might be 10. Intact animals, they don't get a discount, even with seniors. We did that a couple years ago, and it's $40 a year. So, because we want to encourage that money going towards spay and neuter instead of, coming to the county.
So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Whatever we can do for the veterans, we ought to do it.
Right.
We're not talking about this changing the budget of the animal
Yeah.
shelter.
No, it's not.
I suspect that, but I think the fees will be nominal. So I guess you would have to figure out if you want to go the state route where it has to be on their driver's license, or if you want it to be a little more vague and just use the federal government's veteran. I believe there's some sort of military card that they get, is my understanding. And
I guess, yeah, anybody know how many of the veterans have in their license versus how many veterans are federally recognized, I guess?
Well, I have my military ID, but I don't have it on my driver's license.
I don't have it on mine either.
Yeah, I was gonna say the driver's license.
They don't
we've
take
had-
the DD 214 anymore. You got to go get another form and.
Correct.
I wasn't going to do a third day in the DMV trying to get a
Yes.
driver's license.
And we've heard some of that when people come to try and adopt under that. And so it specifically states on the driver's license. So that is, I think, would be a hiccup with licensing.
Yeah,
Are there any VA?
I think a VA or DOD. Card.
There's another card too I got. It's a gold family something or other. Gold Star and Veteran. It's through the federal government.
Well, that's your access into any of the parks. You can, you don't even virtually have to prove that you're a veteran. You just have to say you're a veteran.
So.
I would say at least a VA or.
If somebody wants to steal the Valor to save $10, then that's on them.
Yeah.
Are there any VA programs that take care of service animals and whatnot? I suspect there might be. I don't know. I've never heard of them. I just
Not that I'm aware of, no.
was curious.
Yeah, I'd support doing something like that for the veterans. I mean, you know, not all of them went and fought in wars, but a lot of them have, and I appreciate the service, whether they did or didn't. And it's not like it's gonna, I don't want to bankrupt, you know, animal shelter, but I think it's kind of an argument to veterans would be, I think, a good move on our part. I could see maybe one dog and one cat, something about, hey, if you're a veteran, you know, we'll waive that. I don't have a problem with that.
Over the age of 65 or just veteran across the board? Or 60 or?
I put 60, but that's, yeah, we can change that however you want.
So does this need to be a code change or?
This doesn't, no.
Your fees are they set by a resolution that the board approves?
I believe so, because John and I did this, 3 years ago, and we came to the board and they agreed.
Yeah, so
yeah,
we
it would
just
just
have
be
to
a
bring
fee.
that back.
We'll need to, this will be a direction to bring it back as a fee.
Direction to come back with the revised
Okay,
and
perfect.
consistent with their direction, and we'll do a new resolution.
Revise it under the adoption that in addition, if you could, maybe Sue would have to start over, you could just amend that section of
Okay. Yeah, we can work on it.
whatever's easiest.
Yeah, I'll look at I haven't looked at our fee schedule here in a couple years, so I can see how it's lined up and make it as easy as possible.
Okay, is that a direction, everybody? Any veteran over 60 to have waive of licensing fees?
For one dog, one cat.
Okay.
So so the licensing is only for dogs. We don't have a license for cats in the county.
I don't?
No,
I guess maybe we have to get shots. I think, okay.
right.
Yeah.
And then now you went on, I would say with a veteran's ID.
Okay, we'll keep it vague.
That's that.
Yeah.
Okay. Public comment.
Or some sort of ID that has from a government. Okay, I'll work on that.
Because it's, it's California license, VA
Okay.
card, or military ID. So this is direction to staff. I don't hear any objections, so if you wouldn't mind bringing it back.
Public comment.
Oh, public comment, yes. Do we have any public comment? And I don't see anybody on Zoom. So,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Discussion of possible action relative to the chairman's signature on a letter requesting support for Fiddletown Road Rural Resilience and Safety Rehabilitation Project.
Supervisors, this is the Public Works project on Fiddletown Road that the sheriff's staff is assembling. So it is time for that final submittal, and they're just asking for a letter of support, asking for support for the grant application. It is 100% grant that they're asking for, so there's no.
That's even better.
Yep.
Yeah, I think some of the supervisors wrote personal letters. But I thought it'd be nice to get one from the board. It may not be going in their application packet, but it can still go in as part of public support later time.
I apologize. I had some little snowmageddon. I didn't get my letter out.
That's okay. I get it. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a letter supporting the grant, and
So do I have a motion?
so moved.
Okay.
Public comment.
Oh, public com, boy, thank you. Just whipping my chain. Any public comment? Anybody on Zoom?
No, not at this time.
Okay. We have a motion from Supervisor Neto. Do we have a second? Okay, second by Supervisor Crew. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Cool.
Last time he's gonna get to say public comment to you for a long time.
That's it. Okay, 5G, review and possible approval of the February 10th, 2026 Board of Supervisor minutes.
Come on, one more time.
No, normally we don't have public comment on the, on the minutes.
Had to do it.
Just had to do it. Okay, do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. Call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, we're on to passing of the gavel and presentation, passing the gavel to the incoming 2026 Chairman of Board of Supervisor, and presentation of the plaque of honoring outgoing Chairman, myself. And here it is. There we go. Real simple, real easy.
I want to thank Jeff and the whole staff for putting up with me this last year when I'm hobbling around, but
Now, this was,
like to wear as a badge of honor, I only missed 2 meetings. And
You-
one of them, because I was in the basement of the hospital, and we couldn't get wouldn't go I think it used to be an old x-ray part or something, because it wouldn't penetrate to get I
So-
called in, and they rolled me down to this place, like a tomb.
so the funniest portion out of all this is that Supervisor Crew and I both met at the emergency room during this period of time. You know, my wife had broken her leg.
Well, the way it was going for me, I could have been any day of the week.
So this was
Yeah.
an interesting past year. I think we've done some excellent thing, and I hope to continue on, get reelected this year, and maybe I'll come back and be chair again.
And I like having the Board of Equalization in the middle of, they're so short and sweet.
We're not having to come in for a whole separate meeting. That's Heather and myself's idea. Thank you, Heather, for doing that.
That's a great idea.
So,
We do that with about 4 more?
we're trying. Well, future Mr. Chair, you get to make that.
We're gonna be doing every meeting.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, with that, this meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, March 10th at 9 a.m. with a 8:30 closed session.
So the